be good. Did you guys have a good weekend?
Yes,
Oh
sir.
yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Well, Paul's basically with you all weekend, so
Yeah.
you already
Yeah.
know.
Can you guys also double check that I am heard on this? Because I was not heard for the first 45 minutes of the last.
Hold on.
Real quick, I had somebody I was watching last week. They said that we need to try speaking into our mics more, or we need to figure out a way to turn our audio up.
I can turn you guys
I
up.
think.
Yeah, turn us up.
Okay.
To where like, honestly, make us super loud.
All right, you should be good. We should be the same thing here.
I bet. Where like, honestly, make us super loud. Yep.
Audio sounds good to
Sound
me
good?
on my
Okay.
stream. I hear everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I turned it up, so. And tweet it. All right. Are you guys all good to go?
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
All right.
Yep.
Everybody, welcome to the We Know Ball College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Paul, joined by my other co-hosts, Bryce, Adam, and Stiggs. As always, we are sponsored by Velocity Esports on the Levee, where family meets fun, and also G Fuel. Velocity Esports on the Levee is hosting our org's Call of Duty LAN this weekend, so make sure to stop out and catch a good time. But tonight, we talk about college football. Episode 4, 4 weeks in a row. Fellas, how are we feeling tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Electric.
And we're great.
Electric. I love to hear that. We got a lot to cover tonight, so we'll go ahead and get into it. As from now on, when we do game reviews, we're just going to go ahead and give it to one person and let Stiggs kind of add his little anecdote at the end. So, first game, we got the Week 3 games recap. Georgia Tech over Clemson 24-21. Adam, I was with you for a lot of this, so I think that we weren't able to watch that much except for the tail end. Bryce, you want to go ahead and take over this one? What'd you see?
Clemson couldn't really move the ball. They were not. I don't think Clay Klubnik is who we thought he was going to be this year. He's definitely, I feel like, taking a step back compared to what he's been over the past couple of years. Truly, I feel like his best year was his freshman season. I feel like every year since then he's kind of worsened and taken a step back, and Georgia Tech just dominated this game for the most part. Also, shout out their kicker. Their kicker came in clutch at the end. Coaching was horrible at the end of the game, but they ended up the kicker came in clutch to secure the W for him.
Stiggs?
Yeah, Haynes King, man, what a beast. 90.2 overall grade, 211 passing. Also had 103 on the ground with a touchdown. Georgia Tech's play style, they'll play with anybody. And just for time's sake, I just want to ask you guys a yes or no question. Is Dabo on the hot seat at Clemson? Is that ever going to be a thing?
No.
We might be
I'd
getting
say
into that a
no.
little bit more later. We'll just Clemson's not done tonight. That's all I'll say. We can kind of get
Okay.
into that a little bit more. But great question, Stiggs. You read my mind. Go on to the next one, Adam. I'll let you take this one. Alabama 38, Wisconsin 14.
Very successful Luke Fickle hate watch game. I just want to give a shout out to a couple players on Alabama. Ryan Williams looked like the Ryan Williams of last year. He had 5 catches, 165 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Ty Simpson was really throwing the ball well, but man, just the fall off of Wisconsin football right lately is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and like we were saying, and like I said last week on the previews of this, I just don't trust Wisconsin to score, and they scored 14 points, and one of it was on a kick return. So I just don't know what else there is for Wisconsin. Alabama looks strong, especially at home against a team that they should be doing this against currently. But I got to give credit to the Tide. What else you got here, Stiggs?
Yeah, no, he pretty much said it all. Ryan Williams, is he back? That was a big breakout game for him. He was kind of, got banged up in the Florida State game and hadn't really seen him return to himself. But this game was never close. We all said it, hammer Alabama on the points, and we were correct. So good to see that.
W podcast shout there.
Mhm.
W picks, fellas. All right, I'll go right back to you for this one, Bryce. How about this? Georgia, Tennessee. Georgia wins 44-41 in overtime. What a game this was.
Did y'all get to watch this game?
I was able to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This game was electric. Joey Aguilar, I think he's a dark horse to potentially be in the Heisman race. He was absolutely balling out against Georgia, and for not really nobody knowing too much about him, I feel like he played pretty good in his first real test of the year. Georgia, you guys seen that they got down to a lead pretty early, and they were able to bounce back and slowly work their way back into the game, even into overtime. Their play calling at the end of the game, you could tell, was superior to Tennessee's. I feel like Kirby and Georgia just outcoached Tennessee at the end of the game, and they walked out with a well-deserved W.
Yeah, and ironically, if you go back to our pod last week, I'm pretty sure across the board we picked Georgia, and I'm not even trying to toot my own horn here, but that was exactly what I said on there. I was like, I feel like it's going to be a close game, but Kirby is going to outcoach Heupel, and I felt like that did end up happening. But Tennessee was a field goal away from winning this game, so missed field goal. So I can't put it all on that. Tennessee played great. What else you got for us, Stiggs?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was about to say. I don't know if I'd wholeheartedly agree that Heupel was outcoached just because it was a missed field goal away from being Tennessee's game. They should not walk away from this game feeling ashamed at all. They're a real contender for a playoff spot and the SEC. I think we learned a lot about Gunnar Stockton too.
Mm-hmm.
Real gamer. Kind of reminds me of the Bo Pribula makeup where he might not be the best NFL prototype quarterback or the highest draft prospect, but he can get it done in college. Also, shout out Tennessee wide receiver Chris Brazzell. This dude's 6'5", 200 pounds, and went off. 6 catches, 177, and 3 touchdowns. Beast.
Yeah, he did go off. And does this game worry you a little bit about either one of the defenses with both teams scoring over 40?
I think we just saw 2 good, high-caliber teams, and that's just the nature of college football these days. Maybe a little bit overall, but I think that's just 2 playoff-caliber teams early in the season. Maybe you see that game later in the season. It's a little lower scoring.
I agree with you, and that's exactly what I was going to lead into. Great minds there, Stiggs. I completely agree. We'll
Yes,
go
sir.
on to the next game here. Adam. Texas A&M 41, Notre Dame 40. We are not going to be done with Notre Dame tonight. Bryce, I'll let you get your piece in.
Good.
What a game this one was. Very high scoring. I didn't really think it was going to be that many points put up. Shout out Marcel Reed. He balled out. Mario Crover, I think that's his name. He had 7
Crover.
catches.
Crover.
Thank you. He had 7 catches, 207 yards, and a touchdown. Notre Dame finally used Jeremiah Love. But I think, Paul, me and you share the same opinion that Notre Dame should not be ranked after this, and the fact they are is kind of a crime. But, yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit more later, but
They aren't ranked in mine.
they aren't ranked in mine either. But we'll get into that when we touch the rankings. But Stiggs, what else you got for this game? Because this game was electric too.
Yeah, no, Adam touched on a lot of good points. Mario Craver, beast. He's the highest graded P5 wide receiver through 3 weeks, 91.3 grade. Also, shout out KC Concepcion. Made some big catches, 4 for 82. And they were able to finish some drives off on the ground with Le'Veon Moss. He only had 80 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. And alluding to what Adam said, Freeman gave Jordan Love adequate touches, and Leonard Moore might be the best cornerback in college football. That's really the only bright spot about Notre Dame's defense, unfortunately. Chris Ash, that defensive coordinator, has a lot of cleaning up to do. Notre Dame has to win 10 straight to get the playoff.
Yep. I 100% agree with everything that you just said. You hit all the nails on the head. Bryce, what about this one? The backyard brawl. West Virginia with the upset over Pitt, 31-24. Shout out Jonah.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was pretty disappointed in myself. This is a game that I turned off to start watching another game. I believe the Tennessee-Georgia game, and I missed the ending of this game because I thought it was over.
A lot of people did.
Oh, no.
A lot of people thought it was over. Yeah.
I'm very upset with myself. I didn't get to see this happen live.
People, including me, who bet Pittsburgh, were very unhappy with this when they were up 10
Yeah.
with little time left. Like I said, shout out to Jonah though. West Virginia, what
I will
a good
say,
bounce
too,
back. You know,
I was gonna say after Ohio, this W will probably mean more to them than any W for the rest of the season. After losing to Ohio, beating their rival when they were super down, this just brought their season back to another level. So, this could be game changing this year for West Virginia.
I agree. The Rich Rod post game interview was great. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but Stiggs, you got anything for us on this one?
Yeah, just wanted to shout out Ty Edwards, the West Virginia running back. He stepped in for Jaheim White, who was injured. He had 25 for 141, 3 touchdowns, including the one that sealed the game. Pittsburgh's offense really isn't that bad with Holstein. It's just they, for some reason, just abandoned the run game, and they were ultimately 4 for 18 on third down. So that's not going to do it for any team at any level.
Yep, that'll do it. Yeah.
Also, funny stat was last year West Virginia was up 10 points with about in the fourth quarter, and Pitt comes back and win. And then this year, Pitt's up 10 points with about 6 minutes left, and West Virginia comes back and win. I just think that's ironic, and that's how rivalry games go, baby.
Exactly.
The past couple years of this game, I think would rival any rivalry game. Outside of honestly Ohio State, Michigan, those have been bangers every single year. I think this might be number 2 over the past couple of years as far as competitiveness goes, and like pure hatred for a rival during a game. The game outcomes of the past several years have been crazy all the way down to the end. So
yeah,
right.
And unfortunately for your stat that you said, Stiggs, I was bet last year. I bet West Virginia. Bet this year. I bet Pitt. So.
Oh man.
So
unfortunate
lost
for you.
both of those, but I do remember that vividly last year, and then it happened again this year. But it is what it is. We'll move on to the next one here. Adam, what about Vandy, South Carolina? I was watching this one. This one was ugly. Sellers got hurt, but they were down even before that. 31-7's the final. Score's a little misleading, but it was like 14-7, 21-7 for a lot of this game. But what else did you see, Adam?
Not gonna lie, I didn't get to watch very much of this one. I did see that Lenore, like you said, Lenore's got hurt, but they were still down. Who knows if they were able to come back with him in the game, but Vandy, I guess now they're just going to pull off one huge upset a year, huh? Last year's Bama, this year South Carolina, but, you know.
Yeah, the second half of this game didn't seem like an upset either. They were just steamrolling after Sellers was out. He's laying on the middle of the field. But, yeah, and the main thing for me is that's been a common thing even when Sellers is in. South Carolina's struggling to score, guys. Like, it's not a secret anymore. Like okay, we gave them a little bit of break week 1 with Virginia Tech. We saw what just happened with Virginia Tech and Old Dominion. And last week, they're struggling to score, Sticks.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And to touch on what you said, I think if Lenore Sellers is going to miss any amount of time, then it's bad news for South Carolina, because he kind of was the engine that kept them running. I did want to touch on Vanderbilt, though. So last year, if you guys remember any of the Pavia highlights you were seeing, especially during the Bama game, he was throwing the ball downfield, hitting deep ball completions. In this game, it was the opposite. He was 15 for 16 and passes under 10 yards. They ended up going for 121 and 2 touchdowns. So he was just getting the ball out quick, letting his receivers do the rest. I don't want to. I don't know if this was to South Carolina's wide receiver struggles, which have kind of been a topic all offseason. But the Vanderbilt secondary played really well. They have a trio of DB slash one safety, Brandon Fontenette, C.J. Hurd, and Jordan Matthews. They all had above 80 grades per PFF in pass coverage, so really solid.
Yeah. We'll get into Vandy a little bit more later, and even touch on South Carolina as well. Next up, Bryce. I'll let you take this one. LSU beats Florida 20-10. DJ Lagway 5 interceptions in this game. Brian Kelly getting mad in the post-game presser about an offense that can only muster 20 off 5 turnovers. Make it make sense to me here, Bryce. What am I missing?
LSU actually looked very sloppy this game, and I don't think it was that Florida was being good. I think it was that LSU just played sloppy. This was even though they won by 2 scores, this game was way closer than what the score indicated. Like, they really came down to they scored a late touchdown. I'd say they weren't really ready for it. Florida wasn't, but that game it came down a lot closer than people realized.
I agree. I was able to watch some of this, and I went back and watched some of it, and exactly like that. And the thing is, I know we all hate Brian Kelly, realistically, but, like, this gave me even more reason. What are you talking about, dude? Why are you getting mad at the reporter? Like, you scored 20 points off of 5 turnovers. That's all you could get, and one was a pick six, wasn't it? Like,
Yes.
Like, come on, man. You're scoring 13 points on a team that you just got South Florida put up more than last week. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way how he acts with that. Obviously not a fan of him, but
He did apologize.
well,
He did come
that
on
says
social
something.
media and apologize, but
I thought the question was more than valid, Stiggs.
Yeah, so I know you heard me say during the Notre Dame recap that Leonard Moore might be the best DB in football. The only reason I said might is because Mansour Delane for LSU is having a year. He's already locked down some good receivers in Clemson during the Clemson game. And he did the same. Again, he is the second highest graded defensive back per PFF with an 89.7 grade. And to touch on what Bryce said, the LSU offense did play poor because to only score that amount of points, given 5 turnovers at home, that does leave a lot to be desired. So I do want to see more from them going forward. But even though Florida played like they did, there's still talent everywhere on the defense and on the offensive line, I think, as well. So I don't think it's a panic button, but we need to see more the next time they go out for sure.
Okay. So that was all that we had for that. Players of the week, it's now time. I hope you guys have your players ready. I know we talked about this before. Adam, why don't you start us with your players of the week? Look at the background. It's almost set up perfect for you.
I'll go with a non-UC player for this one. I'm going to go with Ryan Williams. We touched on it earlier, but his bounce back game, 5 catches, 165 yards, and 2 tutties, and a blowout win. That feels like it has to be him.
All right. Bryce, who you got?
This is hard to. I went back and forth. Are we allowed to take a player that took an L?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Joey Aguilar was a dog. Like I know I kind of talked about it earlier, but going against the team that he went against and playing the way he played as really like somebody who hasn't seen that competition before, I think he is a name to be looking out for this football season. I think I don't know if he has one more year of eligibility. I don't believe he does actually. I think this is his only year, but he's making Tennessee a sleeper team.
Yeah. And I know, Stiggs, you got us some. And also, we're going to go off of yours as well. But I'm going to go ahead and say mine. I was happy nobody took mine. Maybe a name that's not super familiar. I'm going to go with Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss. So he ended up getting 21 of 29.
Great shout.
He had 415 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers in the win over Arkansas. They scored 41 and they needed all 41 of it. Arkansas put up 35, but he was super efficient, 62 yards on the ground. He was their leading rusher as well and didn't fumble the ball, didn't turn it over. Super efficient passer. I think he's the reason they won the game.
Yeah,
I don't
Paul,
disagree.
great shout out. I actually had a bookmark on him if we ended up talking about that game. 415 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 72.4% completion rate. So super efficient. Man, kind of ask a question. Does Austin Simmons get that job back?
I don't know. I don't think you can right now. And Stiggs, I do want to point this is just your regular players. A little bit later on, we will have your go to the group. So
Gotcha. Yep.
it's a separate segment. I wanted to just verify that for you. So who do you got for your players of the week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So right now, had to shout this guy out, and I have an honorable mention just for you, Paul.
Oh yeah.
We got my dude. I hyped this dude up preseason. This is Ahmad Hardy, the running back that transferred into Missouri. He had 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, 167 yards after contact. Dude's an absolute hoss. He also had 10 forced missed tackles, 340 yards after contact this season. That enough is to lead the SEC in rushing. He has a little bit more than that total. And my honorable mention, this is also one of my guys, so I had to shout him out. But this is linebacker Sonny Styles for Paul's Ohio State Buckeyes. He was your highest graded linebacker per PFF. He had 5 tackles. They did credit him with the forced fumble, but the highlights that I watched, that play did get reviewed. So I was hoping that you could verify that, Paul, if he did force that fumble. But him and Arvell Reese are the best linebackers in football. I'm going to say that right now. Best duo in football.
Yeah, he did get a credit for that. He did get a forced fumble. So I can't
Okay,
verify
nice,
that
nice.
for you. Yep.
Dog.
Yeah, definitely. So now we get our weekly buy or sell segment. So here's where we're going to get into a couple more topics. I'm going to ask you guys. So, Bryce, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Right, I'm ready.
Buy or sell. Notre Dame will still make the playoff this year.
I'm gonna buy on that. Like Notre Dame is quite literally 5 plays away from being considered the #1 team in the country. I'm going to buy on that.
Okay. Stiggs, let's go to you.
I'm hard pressed because we can kind of maybe touch on this in the rankings. I was very close to ranking USC this week. They look very good, and that is probably Notre Dame's toughest game on their schedule coming up. But I'm going to buy. I don't think it's time to panic just yet because there is so much talent on that team, and the offense seems to figure it out. You know, they have Jordan Love, they have CJ Carr, who Bryce has been saying has been playing great, and I do agree with him as well. So, no, I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy that they can make the playoff.
Funny you say that because USC actually did come in the rankings for the AP this week at 25. So they are a currently ranked team.
I don't even look at the AP poll anymore.
I know. I don't blame you. I
I try to make mine before it comes out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't look at a single thing at it. But Adam, what do you think? Buy or sell? Notre Dame's still making the playoff. Basically asking you, are they going to win out or not? They can't afford to slip up in here.
I'm gonna buy it just because I think their schedule's that easy, and the talent that they got, and plus they're still ranked after being 0-2. I think they can. The committee will put them in if they go make the run.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I also want to buy into this. Like you said, USC's a tough game. I think that their game next week at Arkansas can be sort of a trap. I don't know. I don't think it'll be a rollover game. Notre Dame should win pretty easily, but besides that, I mean, looking at their schedule, it is what it is. They just can't afford to slip up, and I really don't think they will. Let's stay with the playoffs here. How about this? Stiggs, I'll start with you. How about Indiana will make the playoff for the second year in a row?
Ooh, I think I'm going to buy. We can touch on it later, but I may or may not have them upsetting Illinois
No, you didn't do that
this
to me.
upcoming week.
All right, all right, all right. Adam, buy or
That's
sell?
that's not my upset pick of the week though.
Okay,
What
okay.
was my bad, I kind of missed the question. What was it?
Buy or sell? Indiana will make the playoff for the second year in a row.
I'm
They
gonna
keep-
sell, honestly. I think Illinois is gonna beat them this week. I just don't think Indiana. They haven't been tested at all. This is their first major test. I don't think they're gonna beat Illinois. And then, actually, let me.
They go to Oregon and to Penn State as well in the year, but
Yeah.
I think that they are a team who can be on the bubble. I don't think they're winning all three of those games by any mean. But say they get one and they only drop two on the year, they're going to be in discussion. Put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Bryce, I feel like I can sense your answer here.
I'm selling.
Yep, I knew that.
I
Was
don't
coming
think
up.
I don't think that Indiana is going to lose this weekend, but there's a chance they could. And if they lose this weekend, they have to play Oregon and Penn State,
Both
and
on
the
the road.
three-loss Indiana team is not going to the playoff.
Yep. All right, and let's see here. Okay. Interesting here. Stiggs, buy or sell? DJ Lagway will get benched this year.
I'm gonna sell. I'm
Okay.
gonna sell. That was DJ Lagway's first away start in the SEC, and to do it at the environment in which he was in, which arguably one of the toughest environments in football, very, 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 very difficult. So, and he's still young, guys.
Yep.
Got to give this kid some time. I still, I don't. I'm not buying in on him on like a hot, first round prospect. I think he obviously should come back to school. But I think there's still room for improvement with him. He's got to take some big steps, and a lot of people were thinking he would have made those already.
Yeah. And I will say this on my opinion on this. He threw 5 interceptions Saturday, and he didn't get benched then. So what would it take? You know what I mean? Maybe Florida not doing so well towards the end of the year. I don't know, but I wanted to see if how everyone's feeling with coming right off the reaction of the performance from Saturday. Adam.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell it as well. I mean, he played really, really bad, but I think he's gonna have a longer leash than people would think. And like Stig said, he's young. You gotta give him a chance to develop and grow still. So I think I'm gonna sell it.
Okay, and Bryce.
I'm selling as well. Their second string player is also a true freshman, and I highly doubt they're going to back up and go for a true freshman quarterback over DJ at the moment. I think DJ still has too much to prove, and he doesn't have to worry about that.
I hate it when you guys all agree on my buy or sells. I'm just kidding. Bryce, I'll start with you. Texas will reach 3 losses this year.
Um,
They have
me
one
think.
already.
Let me pull up Texas' schedule. Let me see who they have to play. They have they do have the easiest schedule in the SEC
That's
this
why I
year.
asked.
So,
That's why they already have one. So are they going to lose 2 more games this year?
I mean, it's very well possible for them to lose to Georgia, Vandy, Texas A&M,
You don't think they're going to lose
I
to
mean, even
Oklahoma?
OU. I don't think they will, but they could. I bet it'll be a game.
So what's the answer? Are they going to lose 2 more games this year or not?
Yeah, I think they'll lose 2 games. I think they could lose Georgia and they could lose Texas A&M.
All right, Adam.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that too. I have them losing to Oklahoma and Georgia, and I only have them losing to Oklahoma because Arch Manning looks terrible. I'm just gonna put it that. I'm just gonna put it bluntly. I mean, at one point against UTEP, he was 5 of 16 for like 60 yards or something like that. He has to be way better for them to even have a chance in these games.
Stiggs.
Let's pump the brakes here, boys. Texas is still a super talented team, like top three talented team, perhaps. I know they're losing a lot, and I know Arch has looked bad, but I think that they will not. I'm gonna sell.
Okay.
I'm still bought in on. I'm not necessarily bought in. I think they're still a playoff team for sure. They have too much talent, and Steve Sark, as much as they haven't looked the greatest, he's an offensive wizard. Like he's got to figure it out with Arch, but does stink that like with his brand name and there was a tweet that I saw, I forget who it was, but it was some college football mind who said kind of sucks for Texas because with Arch and his brand and all that stuff, like they kind of just have to ride with him no matter what. They can't bench Arch, can they?
Ooh, I don't
That's a
know.
that's a crazy thought.
That's a crazy
If you
thought.
bench
It's
a Manning,
also a lingering shoulder issue apparently that I've been seeing about a potential injury from him. But they have Sam Houston this week. Then they go to Florida, which they should be able to take those two. Then it's Red River. So I'm actually going to sell this too with you, Stiggs. I think that Texas's offense hasn't looked great. Their defense is still very elite. They've given up 14, 7, and 10. I think they're going to stay as a top 5 defense in college football, realistically. If Arch, and also what really sucks here, CJ Baxter going out. Um, but I'm going to give Sark the benefit of the doubt here, and I'm going to say that he does lose one more game, but that is it. We'll stay in the SEC for the last buy or sell, and I'll start with you, Stick, since we finished with you. Georgia will win the SEC this year.
I think after what I saw the last game, I think I'm going to buy that. Um, I don't know where you guys have Ole Miss in your guys' rankings. I know that I'm pulling up their schedule now. I know Ole Miss is coming up soon. Yeah, so they play Auburn. Oh, dude, they actually have a brutal schedule. They play Bama.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of tough,
I,
isn't it?
yeah, I'm looking at the schedule, and they play Georgia Tech at the end of the season, which is never. Yeah, I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell. I think they're going to be a contender, but after just looking at that schedule, like man, that is a brutal. They got Texas, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, Florida,
Bama.
Auburn, Bama. That's a tough schedule, man. I think they might drop two of those.
All right, Adam.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna buy until I heard that schedule, so I'm also gonna sell as well.
All right, fakes.
do you guys think that there won't be any other teams with 2 losses in the SEC? This is to make the SEC championship or to win it.
To win the SEC.
So there's very well a good chance they could make the SEC championship game with 2 losses and win it. I'm right there with y'all. I think they could lose 2 games this year, but still make the conference championship game. And if they make it, I mean, depending on who they play, what team do you guys really think could rival Georgia and beat them a second time in the same year? I don't think there's that many.
I'm with Bryce on this. I am going to buy Georgia, and I just think that schedule is brutal, very tough. But I think they're better than all of them. Talent-wise, only Bama and Texas give me worries on that. But I think Georgia overall is the best team in the SEC right now, and it's hard to get around Kirby. Also, we do have a live chat coming in here from Nick. Yeah, it is my brother. I think we were kind of talking about this a little bit, Stiggs. Sark's play calling and lack of ways to find a way to make. I'm sorry. Sark's play calling and lack of ways to find ways to make the games easier on Arch has been alarming.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. And I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to Sark here just because he's an offensive mind and that's what he knows best. What I did hear this week is one of his press conferences. He answered one of the questions where kind of alluded to that the quarterback run game is going to be a part of their offense. So I kind of look for him to restructure how their offense works a little bit. So again, you might see a couple more slower weeks per se, and they can't really afford slower weeks in the SEC. But I think that they will. I think they'll eventually turn it around and figure out how to win some games with Arch.
Yeah, and then he comes in with LSU as the best defense so far in the SEC. A lot of the SEC schools have been one-sided so far. I don't hate that take. I guess what you're saying is whoever's going to be the most complete team is probably going to win the SEC at that point. Let's
Yeah.
go to the next one. What'd you say? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna I know Bryce is high on LSU, and maybe he can agree with me or disagree with me here. I think this kind of reminds me of those older LSU teams, like back at the day, like Tyrann Mathieu, where they didn't really have the best quarterback, but they were winning games, 23-10, and just
Yeah.
that defense was just eating people alive, and it's kind of what it's doing now.
Yeah, especially because Nuss hasn't lived up to expectations either.
No, not quite yet.
Yep. So now we're going to go to the panic button. We're bringing this one back after a couple weeks. Um, he also said, I don't think there's been an elite team on both sides so far. So still early. We got time. We got time. We'll get through to the first team here on the panic button. I'll start with you, Stiggs. What about Clemson?
Yeah, if you guys heard Dabo talk in his press conference during the week.
He sounded like he was hitting the panic button.
Yeah, he's given that tone. Um, this is probably what you alluded to. We're going to talk about Clemson earlier. Like, I think Dabo's kind of in like the Gundy stature, where like I don't think with what he's done for the university that they would ever fire him and make him leave. But I think they'll probably maybe think about parting ways. Mutually.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of it. Bryce, what do you think? Do you think you're hitting the panic button?
I am not.
Oh,
Clemson season. They play Florida State and South Carolina. They have a couple sneaky games with maybe Louisville or SMU, maybe even North Carolina, but I think that could be a great game. I would not sell on them. Clemson has been a down year for Clemson is 10-3, 10-4. That is a bad year for Clemson. People selling and getting rid of Dabo Swinney because of that is ridiculous. I don't think like you said, I think he's earned the right to leave when he wants to, and I don't think the school will dare get rid of him because he will play the victim on it and be looked down upon.
he will do that. He will do that.
But I think panicking on Clemson this early is just overreaction in my opinion.
I think I am gonna hit the panic button because we're talking about a preseason favorite to win the Natty is 1-2 currently. And I think a lot of it's on Klubnik and how he's performed. They're losing games that they're supposed to win, especially at home. But Adam, are you hitting the panic button on Clemson?
I'm kind of in the middle.
Oh, that's a weak. Come on.
Hold on, I'm getting there. I'm not gonna hit it just yet, just because conference play hasn't started, and like Bryce said, they play Florida State and or South Carolina, and that's pretty much it. So I think they can bounce back and still be an ACC contender, and then still make it into the playoff as well.
I agree, and then we get another comment in here from Nick. Thanks for commenting. We are at 10 viewers as well. Their record in big games has been bad recently, and I feel like their record recently is more because they play in a weaker conference. I think we all are in unison agree that the ACC is by far the worst power conference. But we'll see. That's why we're playing the panic button after week 3. And you mentioned another team, and I think that it was funny because this was alluded to earlier. We're going to go ahead and go to Notre Dame, who's sitting at 0-2 right now. And we just talked about them making the playoff, and I think everyone bought that they were going to make it, right? You all three did?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that answers the panic button question, right? You're not going to panic if you think they're going to make the playoff. So we'll move on to the next team. You already gave your answer to this one, Stig, sort of, but I was going to say Texas. After another lackluster kind of showing offensively, are you panicking if you're Texas? With how Arch has looked. Adam?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm getting close to that point because he has not looked good at all. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like Stig said earlier, that team is way too talented to keep struggling like that. And I think Arch will eventually find his rhythm. Just has to be sooner rather than later.
Bryce?
I'm not gonna panic on Texas for what he said. I think Arch will find his momentum. He's had glimpses of finding momentum and being able to throw the ball. And I think once he gets comfortable, this is really truly his first time playing the game. and the entire game relies on him. He subbed in last year and played a couple of games, but that wasn't for the rest of the season. That was whenever he knew he was going to be benched as soon as Quinn Ewers came back. So I think him just getting used to the feel of the game and how it operates, he'll get better as the season progresses. I won't panic on Texas.
Stiggs, are you going to say no here?
Yeah, I'm not going to panic on Texas just quite yet. They've alluded to it. We touched on it earlier. Too much talent, and I think Arch will turn good eventually, because there is just a lot of traits there.
I'll stick with you here, Stiggs. We'll stay with you here. South Carolina, panic button.
Yeah, I'm panicking. If Lenora Sellers is any kind of hurt, banged up, I kind of thought he was carrying that team, because their offense still didn't look the best even when he was playing and fully healthy. I am going to panic on them right now. The wide receivers, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it even with Lenoris. And all they have on defense is a really good line. I haven't really seen much else from their defense that leads me to believe that they're going to turn it around.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Bryce.
Kind of like Dave was talking about, Lenoris is this offense. How I felt last year about Cam Scatterbo and Arizona State, sort of how I'm starting to feel this year with South Carolina. They're having trouble moving the ball, and when he went out of the game, all production stopped. Also, looking at their schedule, it does not get any easier. They play Missouri this week, LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Clemson, which is a rivalry, all ranked teams, and I think it might be time to start panicking a little bit for South Carolina.
Yep. Adam?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what all of you guys said. I'm panicking on them.
Okay, so I'm going to stay with you, Adam. How about I ask you about a team that's 3-0 and see if you think they should be panicking? The initial answer is like, well, no, what would you panic about, right? How about a team that's not even 3-0? How about a team that's 4-0? And it's because of how they looked in their last game. Iowa State had a big scare over the weekend with Arkansas State of all teams. They were 3-touchdown favorites, and this was a one-score game. What are you thinking, Adam? Are you panicking or not?
Honestly, no, because their schedule's pretty light, in my opinion at least. They play Arizona. Arizona's decent.
They play Cincinnati.
At Cincinnati, no comment on that one. At Colorado, which Colorado isn't very good this year. I think there is a stretch of 3 games. They play BYU, Arizona State at home, and then at TCU. Maybe that's where they slip up. But as of right now, I'm not panicking on Iowa State.
Yeah, after the first 3 weeks, and this wasn't like Rocco Beck still played good in this game. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying the level of competition here from a team in the Sun Belt. What do you think, Stiggs?
All right, we got 2 things to touch on here. First, I'm offended you didn't come to me first because Iowa State's my team.
Yeah.
Second, I'm also kind of happy because Iowa State's on bye week, so we get to talk about Iowa State.
Yeah.
And Rocco Beck's my dog.
Yeah.
So no, absolutely not. I'm not going to panic on these
Yeah.
guys. I think that they are right now the favorite to win the Big 12. I know even though that conference is wide the hell open, I think they are the consensus favorite. They've also had a pretty tough early schedule, and the Dublin game I kind of think throws everything off. I don't think people realize how much that might throw a team off for a week or two, timing and getting your body clock right and all the other logistical stuff that comes with that. So no, absolutely not panicking on my Cyclones.
So my thought process behind this was Adam was looking at Cincinnati's schedule while we're there, and he's like, oh, man, Iowa State, that's a really tough game. And I'm like, pull up their game currently. I'm like, well, they're in a one-score game in the fourth quarter with Arkansas State. That's got to give you a little bit more hope. Maybe they're a little bit more vulnerable to the other Big 12 teams. Maybe not. Just a thought. Bryce?
Just at Nippert Stadium. They're vulnerable.
I'm not gonna panic on Iowa State, but I think this week was more of a not get let down game after their big win over Iowa. Beating Iowa again is going to probably be the best win of their season to Cyclone fans. They're going to enjoy that win more than any other win this season, in my opinion. Unless they go to the Big 12 championship game or something along those lines. As of right now, this is the best win on their schedule, and beating a rival like that and turning around and playing the following week, there's just so much of an adrenaline still and high that everything you have is in front of you, and I'm not going to panic on them for barely making it by this game.
Okay. Before we move on to the next segment, we do get a question from the chat. I want everyone to say who they think has the best defense and the best offense in the country. And I will start with you here, Stiggs.
Sorry, can you hear me? I was muted.
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Did you hear the question?
Yeah. I
Okay.
did hear I started answering the question. Yeah, Nick kind of alluded to it. Our chatter earlier. Definitely gonna go with LSU on the best defense. And until I'm proven otherwise, I'm gonna pick Ohio State because they have Jeremiah Smith and everybody else does not. And Julian Sayin is playing some underrated ball. Me and Paul kind of talked about that.
Ball knower. Adam?
As much as I hate to say this, I might have to go Ohio State for both.
Wow.
I think Ohio State's defense is pretty damn good. And obviously, like you alluded to, they have Jeremiah Smith. But I'm not going to go with them for offense because, yeah. Honestly, but the way they've been performing, I'm going to go with Oregon. I mean, they've been lighting it up
Good
against
pick.
everybody.
Good pick. Bryce?
Just to put some parity in here, so we're not picking the same team. I'm gonna take Penn State on defense. Them with Jim Knowles. They haven't really played anybody yet, but I think Penn State's defense this year will look different.
Okay.
And for offense, again, I won't pick anything y'all have said. I'll go with Texas Tech.
Good pick.
They still have yet to be challenged, but their offense is different. So I think whenever the Big 12 play starts, they'll really prove to the rest of the country what they look like offensively.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly what Adam's answers were. So I was going to go with Oregon for offense and Ohio State for defense. So
Would you guys believe it if I told you that the highest graded defense through 3 weeks was also Texas Tech?
I would
Really?
not believe you. Yeah, I would have guessed it was BYU.
No, it was in fact Texas Tech. Very interested to see that game versus Utah this week. I'm sure we'll talk about it later.
We will, and that is such an intriguing game. I'm so excited for that game. Upset of the week time. Everyone's favorite. So I'm undefeated still on my upsets of the week. I can't get a lock right to save my life, but I can get an upset right. But since I did the bad dignity and stole Stiggs last week, even though his other one he came up with ended up working out and won anyway, I'm going to let him pick first.
Hey, mad respect for owning up to it. I only gave you shit about it like 10 times this week. My upset pick of the week is Maryland versus Wisconsin. They are the underdog by 2.5 points when I checked. The main reason that I am picking this is I do not a believer in Wisconsin.
Ooh.
I
got
I
minus
know.
10 right now.
Oh, minus 10 for Wisconsin?
Yeah, that's what I got on CBS right now.
Then yeah, hammer that. Hammer that because I got them winning.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but this kid that they have, true freshman quarterback for Maryland, Malik Washington.
I've seen him,
He is one of the highest graded quarterbacks per PFF, 93.8 grade, 60% completion clip, 773 yards, 6 touchdowns, and one interception rather, throughout the year. So I really like his game, and he's showing a lot early. So that's what I'm going to go with this week.
All right. Bryce?
I'm gonna go ahead and take Texas Tech over Utah as my upset pick. I don't really believe in Utah that much right now. I do believe in their quarterback though. Devin Dampier. This guy can not only throw the ball but run the ball. I think he is Utah football at the moment. If he goes down, I think they become much more stagnant. So I'm gonna take Texas Tech. I think they just look like the better team right now.
All right. And Adam?
All right. I'm going to go with Illinois against Indiana. It's technically an upset on the sports books.
It is.
Indiana is -5.5. And like I kind of alluded to it earlier, I'm not really a big believer in Indiana just yet. And this is, I mean, because they schedule so weak out of conference, this is really their first major test of the season. So we'll see if they're up to it, but I'm going to go with Illinois.
Okay. And for my upset pick of the week, you guys will probably disagree. I'm going to take Memphis at home over Arkansas. So Memphis is
I like it. I
undefeated.
like it.
Yeah, they're 3-0 at home. So realistically, if you watch a Memphis game, they're not throwing passing touchdowns. That's not what this team does. Sutton Smith is their starting running back. He's got 247 yards on the year and 4 touchdowns already. Their quarterback's only got 2 touchdowns. But Memphis undefeated, and they're going to be at home. Memphis, the last time they played an SEC team at home was Mississippi State, and they won. So Arkansas coming off that loss, their defense hasn't looked that great. I'm going to go ahead and take Memphis. They're second in the American. They haven't necessarily been tested. They blew out Chattanooga. They blew out Georgia State. They blew out Troy. I like the Tigers at home as my upset pick of the week.
Great pick.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Love it.
All right, Stiggs, you're up. This is your time for the goats outside the group. We're not, or in the group. Goats in the group. I'm sorry. Goats of the group of 4.
Love to hear it. And as always, appreciate you giving me this time to shout out some G5 goats and some performances and future games. So I will start rambling now. Do want to touch on a game last week. You know, we were all high hopes that USF might do something against Miami. It did not work out that way. Miami's really good. They have a really good defensive line. I think USF is still, you know, a top 3 G5 team in terms of shape to make a run at the playoff spot for them. I do want to shout out Old Dominion. They beat Virginia Tech, stomped Virginia Tech, rather.
Yeah, they did whatever they
Yeah.
wanted.
It was really never close. That program is going to hit the reset button very soon. Would like to see them come back to the standard that they once were with Frank Beamer.
They fired their head
but yeah,
coach, yeah.
Yeah, shout out Old Dominion. Shout out their quarterback, Colton Joseph. Super efficient performance with 3 total touchdowns. My player of the week, I have 2 on offense and 2 on defense.
Okay.
We got Ejai Mason, wide receiver for Charlotte. They played Monmouth, but he had a big game. 10 receptions, 228, 2 touchdowns. I alluded to my next game last week a little bit. Delaware, they upset UConn. They were not the favorite in this game. And their quarterback, Nick Minucci, he had a 265 passing yards, a touchdown, and 3 rushing touchdowns to go along with that. 44-41 was the final in that game. High-scoring shootout in that. Those are my 2 offensive goats of the group. My 2 defensive ones, we got edge rusher Keyshawn James Newby out of New Mexico. I guess beating UCLA is not really anything to write home about anymore, but they upset a P5 team, so you got to give him credit for that. He had 30 pass rushing snaps, 12 pressures, couple quarterback hits. He never did get home with a sack, but he was making Nico's life a living hell on the highlights that I watched, because I kept seeing, I was like, who is this dude making Nico throw the ball super fast? He ended up making PFF's defensive team of the week as well. Also want to shout out Shane Whitner, inside linebacker for North Texas. He had 7 tackles, a pass breakup, a tackle for loss, 3 pressures, a quarterback hit, and a pick, interception. Can't forget about that. He was your American Conference Defensive Player of the Week. And just to touch on a few games for next week, you guys said it, Memphis, Arkansas. I'm going to just say bet the over on that one. That's going to be a shootout. Yep. Tulane, they upset Duke.
They look great.
They look really good. Yeah. I'm sorry, that was not an upset. They were the favorite. But, you know, anytime a G5 beats a P5, I got to shout it out. They play Ole Miss next week. So we shouted out their quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss. So we'll see how that goes. And UCF versus UNC, I think one is maybe to keep an eye on as well.
Great, as always, Stiggs. Really appreciate you always doing the deep dive onto the people who might not get the recognition they deserve. So we get a question for us here. Early Heisman front runner. I'll take the lead on this one. Actually, for me, I'm gonna go Carson Beck. And it might sound crazy. Stiggs, me and you, we talk about it every week. We were on the caboose of the train, and now we're the ones that are driving the train for Carson Beck. He was overrated to underrated. I think that he's my Heisman frontrunner right now. He's looked good in every game. He hasn't had one of those fall-off games like Lagway or any of those guys have. Mateer is hard to argue against. I'm figuring at least one of you three are going to pick Mateer, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I think Beck's played at that level or near it so far.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Carson Beckett, I believe he's actually the odds-on favorite per a lot of sports books to be the Heisman winner. I do want to shout out, Bryce alluded to it, dark horse Joey Aguilar. Don't sleep on him, man. That offense kind of lights it up. I mean, he's not afraid to sling it.
Yeah. Adam, what about you? It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm going to be the guy that takes John Mateer. He's shined so far. Sleeper pick, because why not? Brendan Sorsby. 15 of 15 against the worst team ever created.
That was bad. That was really bad.
Your highest graded P5 quarterback, Brendan Sorsby.
Yes,
exactly.
sir.
Exactly. Let them know. Someone send that to CJ.
Let
Bryce.
the naysayers know.
Bryce.
Yes, sir. I'm going to take. This is a little bit of a sleeper pick, but Sawyer Robinson for Baylor.
Yep.
He
Love
leads,
the shout. Love the shout.
He offensively, he has been a weapon throwing the ball. Even though Baylor has a loss, I wouldn't necessarily put that entire loss on him. He played lights out that game. That was more due to special teams and Baylor's defense lacking, and also Jackson Arnold being able to move an offense. But through 3 games right now, he has 10 touchdowns and over 1,000 passing yards. And Baylor is 2-1 with the comeback win against SMU, which I think speaks highly for his grit and ability to win the football game.
Yeah, and we get a comment in here, Stiggs, you'll like this. My brother says, wow, man, I really got Paul to finally respect Carson Beck. Because he knows how I was talking about him before, like when he was getting that hype last year. It's like he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
But now it's flipped, and he somehow got underrated. And Nick also commented, good shout, top 3 quarterback in college football, Bryce, is what he said about Sawyer Robinson. Okay, now we get into our rankings. There is some switch-ups here. So, there is a glaring elephant in the room here. Glaring elephant in the room here. So, Bryce, you're the only one with Notre Dame ranked. And I want to say, what's the reasoning for Notre Dame to be ranked, but you're not going to put Clemson?
That is a great question. And it's simply because of who both teams played. Clemson lost to LSU at home week 1. Notre Dame lost at Miami week 1. They both dropped fairly. They both dropped a couple spots because they both lost close games to highly ranked opponents. The reason why Clemson dropped and Notre Dame hasn't is because Clemson has had a game where they looked very poor. Notre Dame has not. They also looked very poor against a bad team and then lost to a much weaker team than what Notre Dame lost to. Notre Dame, I think, is still a top 25 team, and I think you guys believe that too. It's just hard to justify it and put them there simply because of their ranking. We all think Notre Dame's going to go ahead and make the playoff. We all bought on them. So the fact that they're not a top 25 ranked team at the moment is still crazy, considering how they lost and who they lost to.
Okay, I just thought I'd hear you out. So I want to say all of us have one team that we have ranked that the others do not. So first off, Adam, you have Cincinnati at 25, but not the team that beat them and is undefeated.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll try to explain this one. You guys told me to do it at the game, so I did it. I kind of forgot I did that. If my real number 25 would be BYU.
Okay.
But yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Like the Bearcats.
Yeah, rank the Cats. Hey, I respect it, man. You slid them in at 25. It's not like you put them super high. I was just gonna say, Nebraska beat them, and they're still undefeated, and you nothing from them. Rail is a fraud, huh?
He is.
So Sticks, we kind of talked about it a little bit before. I ranked Tulane. I put them in at 23. I thought that they earned a ranking with how they played so far this year.
Oh yes, you get a one praise from me and then one lash on me. You all get one lash from me. You guys just bailed on USF after 1L. You just bailed on them. They have a
Yeah.
good resume. They beat
do.
Boise State and Florida. That's a good resume.
That is
But-
true. I'll give you that. Yeah.
But-
Boise State.
Hold on.
Okay, no, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just wanted to, yeah. I'm gonna keep, and same with Notre Dame. That's just how my rankings work. Like I can't rank an 0-2 team right now. I have all the faith in the world. If we were ranking talent, they'd be top 10. But we're not ranking talent. We're ranking their resume, and they haven't won a game. Yes, they were super close games. Yes, they're super talented, and they'll probably turn it around. But USF has a good resume. I'm still gonna rank them. And I appreciate the Tulane rank. They were actually 27th in mine. They were right behind USC.
Okay. Yeah, no, I absolutely respect it. I think a lot of us are still similar. I still don't know what's holding you back from pulling the trigger on Oregon. Stig, we're not going to hate on it for you keeping them at 5. I think they've looked better than 5, realistically.
I can't. We just the resume. It's a resume is like 90% for me. Like who you have played. Oregon hasn't played anybody. Georgia has, and they won, albeit overtime, close game. But that's a road game against what I think is a playoff team on the road. Against an SEC opponent, rather. I said road twice. And LSU also, even though Clemson dropped out, they're in my rankings. I think your guys too. They're still a tough team, talented team. LSU also beat Florida, kind of the same wavelength. Tough team, still a lot of talent. And Miami, just my opinion, they have just looked the best. Like if Ohio State didn't have a win against Texas, I could argue it, but it's resume.
No, I completely understand. It seems like you and Adam seem to be lower on Texas Tech than me and Bryce are. I think they've just been steamrolling. Their offense has been unreal.
Yeah,
like
I'm lower on Texas Tech and Ole Miss. I just put Ole Miss into my rankings this week. I don't know. Maybe you guys can elaborate. I'm just not.
I got them at
seeing
20.
it.
I'm not. I don't feel confident moving them above 20. Realistically, I don't think they've done anything to look better than that. Realistically,
Right,
so
right.
I'm the wrong one to ask then because I see Bryce has them at 13. Adam, you have them at 12.
I'll let Bryce take this one. I don't.
Rankings are hard. They're hard to do.
Yeah.
They are hard.
I feel like Ole Miss hasn't necessarily disproved themselves yet. They played back-to-back close games, but the fact that they pulled away and their coaching is there, they've obviously outcoached their opponents. And those are, I mean, right now they're currently first in the SEC standings. So, pulling Ole Miss back, I don't think they deserve to be dropped at the moment.
I
Also,
think they do because they played Kentucky and Arkansas. It's not necessarily the powerhouses of the SEC
I
that
think-
they're playing these games down to the wire with.
I think Arkansas is a very slept-on team. They just have a rough schedule, and their record will reflect it.
Until they lose to Memphis this weekend.
We'll see.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Stiggs. I heard you were about to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your guys' feeling on what this take is. Georgia Tech, if Clemson had their resume, win against, I think they would be ranked higher. So that's why I got Georgia Tech in my top 15.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that reasoning at all. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Like I said, as each week goes on, and there is one more glaring thing on here. Like, very glaring. Adam, Stiggs, and I do not have TCU ranked. Bryce, you got them all the way up at 11.
ECU is a good team this year. I think, in my opinion, they are the favorite for me to win the Big 12 at the moment. Their offense and defense. Granted, they have not played anybody. I'll give them that. They really haven't played any. They played a very overrated North Carolina team. and some FCS. But I think TCU, once it comes into conference play, they have a roster. Josh Hoover,
Yep.
the left on quarterback. Their defense is also legit. Through 2 games, I believe they have like 9 turnovers through 2 games, something crazy like that. So they are here. I think they're going to be here to compete for the rest of the season.
All right. Oh, Nick was saying Michigan sadly should be ranked. He thinks Bryce and Stiggs don't have them. Do you want to allude to that, Stiggs?
Yeah, I'm just not necessarily sold on the ceiling of this Michigan team, and their resume just doesn't leave the most leave it leaves a lot to be desired. You know, I would I know they have a young quarterback, but I mean they didn't exactly look. I think was it New Mexico State or New Mexico who they played week one. I
yeah.
can't remember.
New Mexico, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna find out a lot about them in the next couple of weeks. Nebraska, Wisconsin, and USC. So those are all pretty formidable Big Ten opponents. So we'll see what
That game
happens.
this week is really interesting. At Nebraska, really interesting. I'm excited to watch that. Kind of see from there. We'll move on to the next thing because now we get our game previews. 5 games this week. I think I meant to put 6. Let me just double check real quick. Give me 1 second. See if there's one on here that we.
5 big games.
5 big games. Couple teams on bye this week. I know we could put your guys' game this week. Yeah, it is 5. So we could put your guys' game on here, Sticks, if you guys weren't favored by 35.5.
Ah,
So it's kind of hard to justify putting that one on here, you know?
yeah. We're playing a G5 team. It's okay, little bro.
Yeah, that is true. So we can go ahead and start out with the game. I want to say Friday night game. No, Saturday game. I'm sorry. Texas Tech and Utah's big noon kickoff. That's right. So we also had this as an upset pick. I think it was you, Bryce. You took Texas Tech +3 on the road at Utah. 57.5 is the over/under. Texas Tech at Utah. You went ahead and picked Texas Tech. Why is that?
I think Texas Tech overall as a team. I think Utah is Devin Dampier. Not only is Texas Tech offense, like we said, has been legit, their play calling on offense has been different. They are doing stuff that we haven't seen before on offense. I don't know if you guys seen, they're sending like 6 offensive linemen down the field after like a double play pass back with their receivers. It's crazy. And they're getting a lot of yardage and scoring off a couple of these plays. But I think Texas Tech will win this game, and their defense will show out, and Utah won't do much.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pick Utah here. You guys might disagree, but I'm going to take Utah. I like Utah at home. I kind of spoke about them as my sleeper pick. We talked about them as a sleeper pick to win the Big 12 earlier on, Stiggs. I'm going to take Utah at home. I'll go to you next, too, Stiggs. What do you think? This should be a great game.
I 100% agree. This is going to be a great battle. I kind of have an analogy for this one, right? So this game is what is old college football going against new college football, in my opinion. What you think in Utah and Whittingham, you know, he doesn't normally take a lot of transfers. Granted, he did take a transfer quarterback this year, but he's normally known for building and developing. And then you got Texas Tech, who just got that injection, and they're like, yeah, we're spending.
Yeah.
So this is the new age in college football. And that's playing into my pick. It's the new age of college football. I think the matchup to watch is the defensive line of Texas Tech versus the offensive line of Utah. So the left tackle, Caleb Lomu of Utah, the right tackle, Spencer Fano, they're both highly regarded, as first-round picks. And then on the other side, you have the edges of David Bailey and Romello Height. They are both one of the highest graded defensive line a part of one of the highest graded defensive line units in college football. They have a really good interior presence as well, and I think that's going to end up winning and stuffing Utah's run game. I'm going to take Texas Tech.
All right, Adam.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Red Raiders in this one.
I'm by myself. Oh no.
Yeah, stay on that side, buddy.
All right, we'll move on to the next game. How about the Jackson Arnold Bowl? Auburn at Oklahoma. Adam, I'll start with you on this one. This is an interesting game here. This is a 3:30 kick. Oklahoma at home is 6.5-point favorites. Over under is just 47.5. How are you feeling about this one?
So when we're looking at locks of the week, this was one of them I almost took. But I'm gonna go with Oklahoma. I just think they've been looking really good on both sides of the ball. I mean, granted, decent team they've played is Michigan, but I'm so confident enough in the Sooners to get it done.
All right, and Bryce, I'm sure you'll have a lot to say about this one.
Yes, I do. So, as we all know, Jackson Arnold left Oklahoma and has transferred to Auburn. Since then, Oklahoma has replaced Jackson Arnold with John Mateer. John Mateer is getting some crazy Heisman hype right now, which it may be warranted, it may not. If Jackson Arnold was to come around and beat OU and John Mateer, who replaced him,
on the road,
in Norman after they are 3-0, and I think they have crazy. I want to get into it, but I think Auburn coming into that game and winning that game would be crucial, and I think they can very well do it. They have the weapons on offense. I think OU's defense is legit, but I think they stalled a little bit on offense. I think Auburn's defense is also legit, so I'm gonna take Auburn to win this game.
All right, and Stiggs, this one should be fun as well.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I was having a really tough time picking this game. I'm still waffling back and forth as I talk here. But I do want to touch on what Bryce said. Jackson Arnold is having a breakout season, especially on the ground. He wasn't really known for that, but he was known for being an athlete. He has the most missed tackles out of all Power 5 quarterbacks, most forced missed tackles rather. So he's got some juke to him. He's got some move to him. That being said, with the game being in Norman and Oklahoma getting 6.5, I'm gonna lean on the defense and John Mateer able to make some big plays when it matters. So I'm gonna go Boomer here.
Okay, and I'm actually gonna lean Oklahoma as well. My heart wants me to take Auburn here, just to be the. We all are familiar with COD, and you guys know how the saying always goes: the guy who you drop always comes back to beat you. You know, that type of thing.
Yep.
And so I kind of am getting that vibe from this with Jackson Arnold, but with the game being at Oklahoma, it makes me take Oklahoma here. I don't think they cover, though, realistically. But it is what it is with that, so... another game here, we'll move on to Michigan at Nebraska. So this one's pretty intriguing as well. Since they're not already ranked, I think Nebraska wins this game, they will definitely be in. Michigan is still ranked at 21. Nebraska are home underdogs. So they are plus 2.5 at home. This over-under is even lower, 45.5, 3:30 kick on CBS. So I'm excited to watch this one as well. So let's just go backwards from where it was. We start with Adam last time, so we'll go with Sticks. You start us off here with Michigan at Nebraska.
Yeah, I can start us off with this one. I am not high on either of these teams. I do need to see Bryce Underwood, prove it with this offense just a little bit more. It's not necessarily him. They have a good run game, and receivers are, they're good, but I do think they need to upgrade in the passing department, weapons department rather, for this team truly to go to the next level. I think they're about a year away. Nebraska, on the other hand, Yeah, they beat UC, but they didn't really do it in the most exciting fashion. If UC put together two more plays, they were an opportunity to tie that game up or even take the lead. I think it's going to be a big prove it game for either quarterback, even though Dylan Raiola is already more seasoned than Bryce Underwood. Because if Bryce Underwood can get it done, I will be very, very impressed. I'm going to lean Nebraska here. Another one of the games where I was kind of struggling picking just because of how I view both of these teams. But this game's at Nebraska. You can never doubt that environment.
Yeah, very very much so. I think so too, and I think the winner of this game is going to benefit as this to build a resume and help them out down the year. Um, like I said, Nebraska wins this game, they'll be 4-0. I think they'll be in the rankings for sure. And Michigan can keep
Matt
building on it. What would you
Matt
say?
Rule needs this game.
He does, yeah. Matt Rule needs this game. This should be good. Like you were saying, Nebraska at home, that's where I'm leaning as well. And if you look at Nebraska's schedule, after this game, Stiggs, listen to this. Until November,
Oh my.
Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, and then they play USC at home. Then they at UCLA, and then in the last 2 weeks they got Penn State and Iowa. So until November, they're not going to be really be tested after this game.
Very interesting.
So it kind of adds into it. They could really build onto something and be potentially 6-7-0 if they win this game. But that's all a big
Six
if.
seven.
6-7. You guys like that? Yeah. All right, Bryce, what do you think? Michigan at Nebraska.
I'm gonna take Nebraska. I think Michigan is very overrated. Uh, I think they've been overrated all year. I think Nick was saying earlier how they think they should be ranked. I personally don't. Until Bryce Underwood proves himself, because he didn't do it against OU. Uh, I don't even think he looked too good in OU actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Nebraska here. I think they're a more complete team at the moment. I also don't believe in Shamar Moore.
I don't think that isn't Shamar Moore an actor from Criminal Minds.
Sharon Moore. I'm
Sharon Moore.
sorry.
Okay, no, you're good. I
I didn't
no,
realize.
you're good. You're good. You're good. We like Shamar Moore on this podcast too. I like him too. Adam,
Yeah, I kind of want to go with Michigan here, but I'm gonna go with the smarter pick and go Nebraska
we all
for the
went
reasons you guys
Nebraska.
said. Should be a
This 2.5 point spread. Well, that's either gonna make or break us, there, fellas. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Uh,
it always goes well when we pick the same team, right?
right. Yeah.
Clemson.
We've never gotten that wrong ever. Uh, for some weird reason, College Game Day decides to go here. Florida at Miami. Miami's 7.5 point favorites at this current point. Um, yeah, Miami at home, 7.5 point favorites, over under 51.5. This is the night game on ABC, 7:30 kick. I will be watching the other game if the land isn't over by this time. This other 7:30 kick, which we'll get to next. But for this one, I mean, I'm gonna take Miami at home. I don't think that's too crazy of a take. I wouldn't be surprised if they cover this by win by 10 or so.
yeah. I'm taking the U as well.
I'm taking Miami. I don't think there's much else to say.
Stiggs.
Yeah, dude. Miami's good this year. Like they turned that defensive round. I do want to
Cristobal.
shout out. Hey, their offensive line's nasty too, man. I don't even want to try and pronounce his name, but Francis Muaga. We're gonna go with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Dude's an absolute monster at right tackle. Like he just mauls people. I don't have an official measurement, but if I'm gonna guess it, like 6'6", 340.
Oh
Dude's a
wow.
freaking yeah, dude's a freaking hoss. And then we'll shout out Miami's defensive line. I think they're the only defensive line that could rival Texas Tech right now for how they've performed. Um, Ruben Bain Jr. does get all the credit, and he is a freak and I think he's the highest graded defensive end per PFF. But they have another guy, Akeem Mesidor. He's having a beast year too, a top 10 grade alongside of him. So yeah, give me Miami. I don't know what the spread is, but take it.
Yeah, so it is 7.5. Nick did comment about that last game. He said Underwood in the run game will eat the clock. 23-17. Sadly, that's not out of the realm of possibility for this game.
That's
for
exactly
that
the
game.
recipe of game that they would have to win, in my opinion. They need to control the clock, control Nebraska's possessions.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. It would not shock me if that's what they ended up doing. But um, so we were all across the board there. We took Miami. Now the last game that we'll do is also 7:30 kick. It is Illinois at Indiana. Currently, I have CBS Sports giving Indiana at home 6-point favorites. Stiggs. I know we were talking about that earlier, but yeah, 6-point favorites for what the? Sorry, something's popped up on my computer. Okay, 6-point favorites for Indiana, 52.5. This is the night game that I'm going to be watching if I can. We'll start with you, Stiggs. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking Indiana. That's who I'm gonna pick. There's a reason they're a favorite, man. They have an explosive offense. They got my dark horse Heisman candidate at the beginning of the year, Fernando Mendoza, who is starting to look better and better every week. And they also have two dog receivers. They have Elijah Surratt, first round projections coming into the year. Hasn't started as strong, but I think it's because of the emergence of this other receiver in Omar Cooper Jr., who had 10 catches, 207 yards, and 4 touchdowns last week. I do like Illinois. I think they're a good team. I think they're a sound team. But I think at the end of the day, Indiana, they have some good players on defensive side of the ball. D'Angelo Pounds, want to shout out him. Really fun cornerback
Yeah,
to watch, undersized, but will compete with anybody. I think Indiana will get it done.
yeah. This should be a very very interesting game. This kind of sets up either one of these teams better for the playoff by having a win over each other. Um, So
Yes.
Indiana's actual home environment lately with last year actually jumped up a lot because I've been there, Adam's been there. It's not much to talk about, but that place was rocking last year when they had some big games there. And this being a night game there, I don't know. It's tough. Signetti said Google him, but Belima isn't going to roll over either. Illinois, I mean, they're currently a top 10 team sitting at number 9. Bryce, what do you think?
I'm gonna go ahead and take Indiana. I don't believe in Illinois, and they could completely prove me wrong this weekend, and I could believe in them. But I'm just not a big believer in them at the moment. They haven't really proved it to me against anybody they played. So I want to take Indiana here.
Okay. I thought they proved some to me against Duke, but that's each their own opinion. Adam, Illinois at Indiana. This was your lock or your upset. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm taking Illinois. For the exact opposite reason of what Bryce said. I'm not a big believer in Indiana yet. Illinois did prove me wrong against Duke, so I'm going to try to continue with that and take them here against